Hey guys, welcome back. It's Green Reaper coming at you for another video for Raid Shadows. Hopefully you're doing well and hopefully you're having a great week and hopefully you're enjoying C4C, the best content in Raid Shadow Legends. It's always Christmas every 2 weeks for them because we all start tapping for our favorite content. Anyway, let's get into today's video. I wanted to do a video on this champion since he was the recent fusion, and a lot of people have been asking me what I think about him, and I'm actually really impressed once I find the champion. And obviously, I'm talking about for the Faye Hammer, who is overall is an absolute monster. Now I've got two of his builds for him, and I'm going to showcase him in the strongest areas for his kit right now that I can think of, which could be Arena and Hydra. There could be two style of builds, and then we're going to talk about blessings and masteries, depending on where you want to use it. Right, if you want to use him in Arena, fair enough. I think he would be top tier, by the way, in the Arena. And then obviously for Live Reader, can definitely be top tier as well. So let's go through his kit and let's see what he's got on his see what he's all about, right? So attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 20% chance of repeating attack. Each hit decreases attack 10 meter by 10, and then he's got 2 books on the damage. On the single Ricardo, whatever it's called, attack all enemies after hitting the initial selected champion. All other enemies will be hit in a random order. Each hits it following its own initial hit increases the damage inflicted by 25, stacks up to 100. We ignore block damage and unkillable buff. This does not work against bosses. This is fantastic for like Odin, for example, which he is normally like stronger than Odin in a comic book, especially if you know King 4, which is like the strongest version of him in the in the comic books, etc. And he is like good against Sigurd. Who else could he be good at against? What's his name? Halakath. Also, he could be good against Nice as well, or Nice, or however you say his name. So there is quite a few meta champions that he will be quite good against. I'll be honest, like gold 4, is he gold 4 material? No. Is he gonna be like gold 3, gold 2 material? Depending on your team setup and whatever you got as well. But when you're getting a 5-star blessing for him, or 4-star blessing, like one of the two are absolutely insane for him, and you're not going to have better chances than that. This guy also brings his own increased attack and increase critical damage, so he has very strong utility to say, okay, actually I'm going to make him one of my main nukers because he buffs himself up quite nicely. It is worth noting that this is a like single hits. This registers as like single hit, so this actually doesn't work with Slayer, and people are saying that Slayer is his best build because he gets extra damage, which is true, but I feel personally, I don't think it's his best build because I want the ignore defense, and this wouldn't register under Slayer. So we'll talk about that when I'm looking at for Hydra. It's more of a Hydra thing. And then obviously this one attacks enemies before attacking, places increased attack and critical damage on his champion for 2 turns. Has a 75% chance of decreasing the resist of the enemy by 10%, stacks up to 50% chance, and then also places a decreased speed on all enemies, which is great for Hydra. This is on a 3-turn cooldown as well, which is pretty insane. Then he has a really cool passive. Every time his champion deals damage, increases the thunder count by 1, which stacks up to 10. Each thunder stack increases this champions by 3%, and then once the thunder count reaches 10, attacks all enemies and places a stun on them for 1 turn. After attack, the forward will reset. So really cool. You'll see this proccing in Hydra all the time, and it's pretty OP. I'm very happy with that. Anyway, let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and jump in the Hydra first, and we're gonna do like a full showcase of him in Hydra. He will be making his way into a main Hydra team, and we're gonna kind of compare this with probably like gonna be my new personal best team as well. So let me go ahead and share that with you, and we're gonna kind of have a look at that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that run, and you enjoyed the run and enjoyed the music there. So as you can see here, we're at turn 57. We're at 220 million, which is like a new personal best, I guess, at this level. And you can see here Carnage is in here, which is the same kind of setup, but Mishi was dropped, and Vlad the Destroyer was also dropped, allowing to bringing Venus back into the Hex set, into the Evoke set, and then allowing to use Thor and Carnage together, which is kind of a interesting pairing, but it really does work. You can see here, pretty juicy. And this is like my 1 billion team on Brutal, which I made a video on a couple of weeks ago now. And you can see here, this does have Carnage in, who was like the highest DPS champion, and it's 194 million at turn 58, and we're like 30 million ahead at this turn. This is at turn 57 as well. That's at turn 58. So actually slightly a turn ahead, which is actually kind of huge when you think about it. I'm going to go ahead and just pull up the other screenshot up here as well, so you guys can kind of see this as well, because I kind of screwed up the recording here. You can see here, like Carnage coming in with 76 million, and then for the Fae Hammer coming in with 74. So actually very equal. Carnage is like one of the biggest hitters in Hydra right now, and Thor is leveling himself up. Now, bearing in mind, I will get Carnage's 6-star at some point. Unfortunately, this month I was very lucky and only got nothing inside the chest, so I was kind of hoping to get the 5-star for him. I didn't, which is a bit of a bummer. And you see here for the Fae Hammer coming in with around about the same damage. Now I will pick up his level 5 blessing, which will be pretty nice, but unfortunately I won't be taking on that level 6 because it's just too expensive, and I am a P versus P guy. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting one, a way I kind of look at it as, but unfortunately it's just the way it is. So I'm going to show you the builds a bit later on. Right now we're going to go ahead and take him into arena and see what damage he can do in arena. Now, if you have a faster champion that is not your Arbiter, for example, mine is Siphi, then you don't actually need to run your Arbiter, because he has increased attack and critical damage buff. The most important is he has the increased attack, right? So you can go ahead and remove your Arbiter and use a more of a protected champion, for example, Necrid the Great, right? Which is the great version of what you need. We can go ahead and start this off. You can see here it's kind of a bit iffy. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. And then we're going to go ahead and just buff ourselves there and try and do some juicy stuff. And we don't get much damage off at the moment, which is fine. We can go ahead and do what we need to do. He's going to go ahead and steal our turn meter, which is annoying. Our Matt is super frustrating champion sometimes, and he's just going to ruin my stuff here, isn't he? He's going to ruin my stuff because I'm recording for the video. So I'm hoping we can get this back round for what we are doing here. So you can see there we one-shot him, which is pretty juicy. Obviously he is tap base. It looks like we'll come back round and be able to save this. We do lose the increased attack, which is a bit of a shame. I do enjoy his to do with his attacks. I feel like Thor is actually going to become one of my new favorite champions. I just feel like I'm a really big fan of Marvel, and to be honest, like I'm not too much of a fan of Loki's kit, because I feel like Loki's kit is very niche, and I feel like he's not as good as the rest, right? He's a free, obviously he's a freebie, and the freebie is nice. I've got some use out of mine because of Wixwell, but if it wasn't for Wixwell, I don't think I'd get much use out of him at all. Anyway, so you can see there, we did deal with that team a little bit. We struggled, but we got through it. We're going to have a look for a couple of Sigfords later if we can. I'm obviously a Sigford owner. I'm very lucky to be a Sigford owner. He's one of my favorite as well. Probably my favorite mythical after Dark Smiles. I really do love my Dark Smiles. He's a fantastic champion as well. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to come in with a free. we are smacking through this. Now, I have put some of my best gear on. I'm expecting a bit more damage, but that's fine. He's still got plenty of time to start getting stacks up. Now, I think he's going to be more impressive in live arena because, you know, you got more chance of the stacks to proc in arena. You can see there 220 k damage. And yeah, just overall, I think he's going to be a better champion there as well. So, what do I think about Ford Feyhammer? Well, he's fantastic, isn't he? He's a fantastic fusion, and I'm really, really happy going for him. I know there's been leaks already on the new fusion, and everyone is basically saying skip, skip, skip. And to be honest, I'm not going to make a call on it until I've seen a bit more from the tier threes when they take him into test server and kind of show us what's going on there for this new fusion. So for me, legendary is legendary. Normally, I do the fusions. I am feeling a bit burnt out myself, so if I do decide to skip it, I think it might be more of a kind of not needing save resources, but just kind of take a break from not a game, but just slow down a little bit, if you guys know what I mean. Anyway, we see the Inkillable there, so this is going to be a good opportunity for the Feyhammer to show his worth with that A2, which can remove Inkillable, which is going to be super nice. Oh, it's not ready, so that's a shame. I'm going to go ahead and just do that then. We decrease the turn meter. You can see actually there that the passive actually kicked in, was about 40k hit, so not too shabby. I suppose you could just stop him taking a turn, wait for an Inkillable ability to come back round, so you can just go ahead and remove it like that. It's not so much of a remove, it's more of just ignoring, which is slightly different. Skull Crown obviously has Inkillable, so we'll go ahead and kind of do that. Now, it's a shame he doesn't ignore Stone Skin. Kind of would have liked it if he did ignore Stone Skin. If he did, I don't feel like he'd be like a Georgie level because he still has like the affinity to worry about, etc. But would make him a bit more useful in live arena for myself. So you can see there, big bolster set there being took down. Obviously, these are not the most impressive teams going. I am aware of that, but it is nice to see him like he's good enough. Gold 5. I'm not going to try and sell him like he's your next platinum push champion because he's not, right? But he can definitely come in and do some bits of bobs. So he can counter Leo. If you guys are struggling with Leo, that is a nice counter to that overall. So that's something you could also think about. So you don't need to worry about Leo as well. And we just wait and wait. Go ahead and put that on. Ping, ping, ping. I do love that reaction. Not gonna lie, it's kind of sweet. We just sheep you. No, okay, all right, fair enough. Let's get some thunder onto that pig. When you're ready, Mr. 4. So he's definitely good enough for Siege. You know, he's going to be usable for Siege for a lot of us. He's going to be useful for Hydra for mainly myself. A live arena for a lot of people as well. Because, like, when you have champions who can buff themselves up with increased attack, and he also does the increased critical damage, it's a buff that you want to take full advantage of, right? Like Mesamal, for example. Mesamal super strong. You see there, the passive just went in and killed the Pythian, which could be a difference between a win and lose. There's not much it can counter that as well. You can see there. Okay, so I finally found a Sigford on Arena, and we're going to show off the second ability, which is going to be like super key against champions like Sigford. Meta, a meta mythicals, that's the word I was looking for. And we're just going to kind of show you in action on what they will do. So we're going to go ahead to take out Armads first. with a ally attack. We're going to just proc some reaction there. We will do that ability there. Now we want to do the increase attack first. However, this does ignore block damage. So bear in mind, no increase attack. We should be able to proc this unless we proc reaction, which might be a different story. So it doesn't ignore block damage. Okay, because I was under the impression it would ignore the stone block damage, because I thought it'd hit him and then do another hit, which would ignore it. So it's not going to work like that. It's going to be a case of you're going to have to hit it first, set it off, and then so you could do the A3, then do the A2, I guess, if you have like some type of lockout mechanics like a warlord or something like that you can use to your advantage. So it means you can go in like this, come into the reaction, do proc the reaction, but we killed him this time. Do that ability there. I suppose doing A3 into the A2 might be a slightly better idea. We will go ahead and sleep him there. Then it should ignore the block damage like so. So yeah, okay, so you need to do the A3 and then the A2, and then you can basically counter the Sigfrid, which is pretty nice, right? Like it's obviously not ignoring the stone skin, but it is pretty nice. We might be able to do something here as well and just test it out against Odin as well. Now Odin's slightly a bit more difficult to kind of predict because of the way that the passive works on the champion. And obviously this is a bit of a no-go anyway, because we shouldn't really be using Necrid against Narcissus anyway. But you know, hey ho, we like to live on the side a little bit. So we don't kill Narcissus, which is a shame. We've got a higher critical damage, and we're gonna go ahead and get stunned. So it's a bit harder to take on the Odin just because Narcissus is so OP, and it's not really gonna work against that style or team. It's gonna be a hard one for sure. Which I guess is fine because he's only a magic. He's not force in a day. Don't have like a lot of teams down here. We've got another Sigfrid down there, which we've already kind of showcased against the Sigfrid. Like, so I suppose we can just go up against like the average team and kind of show you, like, against the average type of team with like, you'd normally have like 2 turn meter boosts, which would be your Arbiter, and then whoever you got here, like your Georgie, like your Gorgonwrath or something like that, then your CC champion, which most people would be Armads, and then your style of Nuka. Now, if you're using 4P Stone Skin, you don't need to speed tune as much, but it is definitely easier to speed tune with 2 turn meter boost champions and someone who drops turn meter anyway. And I guess if you use Arbiter, you might be able to just use the A2 off the bat instead of using A3 if you didn't want to as well. That's also an option, which is pretty cool either way, but super solid. You won't see that passive go off too much, just generally because of the way that it works against the how a classic arena normally ends within like the first turn or the second turn. Whoever goes first normally wins because you have like the advantage, right? Going to like the next level. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go up. I'm going to see if we can take out this Narcissus, if we can. So we can't actually sheep him, which is fine. We're just going to A1 actually there. Big chunk out of UDK in all fairness with that A1. And then do this like so. He's going to flip and try and bomb me, which is hilarious because we've got block buffs. And then we just wait like so. I'm going to wait for that sheep to break up. Nice. And then we can just start doing some juicy stuff overall. It's kind of nice to slap Narcissus. We're gonna go ahead and sheep you. Get sheeped in the process. We're gonna do this ability here as well. 141 damage, and then the passive comes up, strikes Dark Smiles on the head, and basically wraps it up for us. We just gotta wait for this UDK, which is gonna be annoying. Shame he's not like strong affinity to UDK, because that would be well nice, but you know, you can't wish for everything you want. Definitely think like 4 is gonna be one of my new favorite toys for sure. I would like to see how I'm going to bring him in. I will do a live arena video next week using 4 in live arena a bit, or try and use him anyway. Probably not on my account. We'll probably look at someone in like gold 2 or gold 3, etc., and see what we can do there. So let's go ahead and check out his build on my account and the 2 builds, and then we'll talk about masteries, etc., for Hydra in general. Right, okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just move the screen here, because I do want to talk about masteries, which in a second we'll get into. So right now, these are pretty much what I'm using for Hydra. These are pretty much like some of the best masteries I would like. So lasting gifts would increase attack and critical damage, which would be pretty cool. Cycle of Magic's pretty cool. And then some accuracy stats for Hydra. And then for Hydra, Life Drink is very key. Cycle of Violence, so we can get back round. Hammer Smasher as well for me is the way to go. Now, for like arena, like classic or live, I definitely wouldn't be doing this. And same as Natural Wrath. Like Natural Wrath is just mainly for a Hydra. Now, for the starter team I was actually using with all the buffs, it's actually better to go with Harvest Cast. You could even go with Lightning Cage. Gotta be careful with Lightning Cage against Narcissus because it counts as a buff. But if you're gonna use Stone Skin, like 4-piece Stone Skin, definitely could think about that as well. Harvest Cast will probably be the way to go for most people. Thunder Touch would be okay, and then Soul Reaper would be okay. Life Harvest as well would be okay. I think it's always nice to have like 1 or 2 strong Life Harvest within your teams, because if you destroy and you can kill them and then they come back up, then that is a good way of kind of ending the game quicker if they don't have like a Marishka or something like that as well. Obviously 6-star, it will go with Sheep all day long, so that's the way to go for that. Let's talk about masteries in live arena then. So we're on a trusted raid bro. For defense, you just go come down as normal with retribution, and then for here you want to come in with like shield breaker to give him that opportunity to break shields and just do a bit more damage. Ruthless ambush with the cycle of death, just my personal best. Now I would actually go with Optimus here because he does have a stun on a passive, especially if you're also running at Armads. And then for me, I'll come in like this for the Ham Smasher. They are my most optionable masteries for Nukas in the arena right now for my account, but it really does depend. Now, for the Stone Skin build, we went with 300 critical damage, obviously really good attack, and no accuracy was needed. Obviously crit capped, and then we're about 250 speed, 6,500 attack, so because he's got his own increased attack. And then we can actually go ahead and just equip his Hydra build, right? Which you guys will also want to kind of see of what I was using for the Hydra run. So these were the stats that we actually went with. Now, I do think that Merciless is the best way to go over Slayer because, again, that A2 does not ignore Stone Skin. So it does not ignore defense. So I would want to build that up as much as possible. So we got a little bit on the Great Hall. We got 264 accuracy. Now I do need more accuracy on my build, but bear in mind I'm going to get the 5-star blessing within a few days, so I've kind of counted that in my build already. Really solid critical damage of 320 4. Speed could definitely be a bit better, but again, the Great Hall will do that for me, and then attack will come up as well through the Great Hall when it comes to live arena side. So there is a lot of stats there for me to kind of work on still to progress him. But 6 Merciless is the way to go, in my opinion, because also you get the 30% chance of getting like a random cooldown, and we're ignoring 35% of the target defense overall. So we do have a bit more stats to come in from Oil, which should be something I'll work on as well. And then obviously you kind of know what I feel about these masteries already for Hydra. So that's it. There is the full showcase on for Faehammer. What do I think of him overall? I think he is super good. He's definitely for like damage dealers, just behind G-Nut in like improvement. Obviously, he's not going to have that impact as like a G-Nut did, or like a Wixwell, but he's definitely up there for my as one of like top 5, top 10 fusions in Raid. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think about 4? Did you get him? Did you get the 4-star blessing? Did you get the 3-star blessing? Did you get the 5? Will you be doing the next fusion as well if the rumors are correct from Raid's leak? If you're not seeing it already, you can probably find it in my Discord somewhere, where I will show it with you guys overall. That's it from me today. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys staying around, watching to the end. I've been Grim. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.